Live?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go live on Too Sexy.
All right. Hello, YouTube. What's up? It's office hours time. And we're going live on Instagram.
Yep,
Let
that
me call
is
in.
accurate.
Hey. Hey, Tyler. What's up?
So it sucks. Like I can't I
Good
can't
morning, Mr. Black.
if I put my phone on my computer, that's like the
Yeah.
best way. That's the best way for me to be able to like look the same direction and not be like looking like two different ways.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it it is that um it overheats. My phone overheats when it's on the computer.
Yeah. You probably, I hear the fan sometimes going on my computer really loudly. What's up,
Yeah,
Chris?
yeah.
Hey, friends on YouTube, how's our audio? Does Leo need to be louder or does my mic need to be louder? As always, we lean on you to be our engineers.
Lean on me.
When you're not strong. Isaac says, I love you so much. Oh my God, wow. So much love already in the beginning of Office Hours. Well, it's time.
Oh wow.
I was about to say it's time for Office Hours, but it might also be time for something else. All right, audio's good. Great. Thanks, Caleb. Our vibes match.
Man,
Heck yeah.
I do not know where to put my glasses, but
We were twinning pretty hard the other night. We did a really fun photo shoot. A lot of red and black going on, which is awesome. And we had our glasses.
oh my
And
god, where are my glasses?
it's okay if you can't find them, we can always get you a new pair. Maybe we should make two Saxy glasses. Uh-oh, an error occurred. Or it could be a glassesless
Um,
office hours.
I can look for them, but I have to unplug my headphones for a second.
You
Um,
good.
all right.
Yeah, you good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, y'all. What's happening? Thanks for joining us for Office Hours. Um, we are, as always, going to do some video review for those of you who sent in this week, and we're going to do some Q&A this session. So, um, one thing that would be really cool to know from all of you, and I think can open up the discussion among us, is what current music challenges or career challenges um, are y'all facing right now? Because I think office hours is a time for us to get into our experiences and then be able to um, drop some ideas, things that we've learned along the way to all of you. So that also starts with knowing what you're going through right now. And feel free to also add what you're excited about or um, tell us about your musical life. And we had a really fun workshop Sunday. It was really great to be together.
Yeah,
Fun to travel back.
that was a fun jam.
Mm-hmm. Super fun. As his
Um,
comments are coming in, how you doing, Leo?
I'm good. Um, all right. So I'm jealous of your work with the Fearless Flyers, and um, I'm going to practice alto until I get a cool gig on alto.
Heck
That's,
yeah.
you know what I mean? That's,
We got a new setting new goals.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you got a cool gig on Barry. I want a cool gig on alto now. You know what I mean?
All right, it's out there in the universe. You know, In 2020, I want to play a gig on the bass. Like I want to get good enough to be able to rock the electric bass on a gig. Like probably not a jazz gig. Maybe like just an indie thing where I can just stick to some roots and some dope embellishments. I don't think I'm about to learn giant steps on the bass. I've got a long way to go. But I'm excited to see what that future alto gig's gonna be, because
Yeah, I'm
let it be
excited to see.
known right here and now.
I'm excited to see what that future bass gig. Well, I've already decided like I'm just gonna for my solo stuff. I'm gonna play some alto. You know what I
Heck
mean?
yeah.
But no, I mean I'm kind of kidding, but like not really. But like
Good.
but no, like that's inspiring that that you are a alto player and that you got such a cool gig on Barry and you sound really good and like in tune and I don't know.
Thanks, dude.
I feel like that's something I focus on so much. It's like my biggest compliment to people because I feel like it's like the hardest part of saxophone when you're playing like in a
Tuning.
section. Like if you're playing something soloistic, it doesn't really matter. But I
Yeah.
feel like when you're playing a section, it's like so hard to be in tune.
Yeah. I agree. Sax gang, you feel us on that? I was sweating so much during that
Yeah,
session.
you said you were sick, kind of sick or
Well,
feeling.
literally because of that, but also just I haven't spent that much time playing in sectionals. And so
Yeah,
Michael Nelson, who arranged the music, brilliant, brilliant. And him and Kenny played in Prince's band, and Michael would arrange for Prince. And he was like, no, 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 like, second note, dut. And I had to kind of, because I haven't practiced that as my natural place of reading articulations and, you know, knowing exactly how to read it like that, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't rely on my intuition for this. I really got to pay attention. I'm like, that's a dot, that's a caret over
yeah,
this note. I was like,
yeah. I
focus,
mean,
focus, focus.
I'm hoping the gig I get on alto does not involve any reading.
Yeah, I have
Um,
a feeling that I feel like you're just gonna let your
like
alto spirit free.
I want like a. I think that like when my Barry sound is translated into alto, it's. I feel like I sound a lot more smooth just because it's almost like Barry can't sound that smooth. Like there is no really smooth jazz Barry. Like for some reason,
Yeah,
every
because
time
it's
you
got
play,
such a grit to its sound, anyways,
yeah,
right? And like the low end, it just doesn't. I agree.
like I feel like this weird thing where um I feel like this weird thing where it's like in jazz school, like I would play a smooth lick and just to make everybody laugh. But like
On the berry.
yeah, on the Barry. And I feel like in my heart that's what I love playing. But
Yeah.
it was just like everybody laughed. So I was like, ha ha, boop a way, wah, like, ha ha, like Leo's so funny. Like, ha ha. You would never play smooth jazz, right, Leo? Like, um, and it's like, it's so weird. Like, when I pick up the alto, like, I might try to play a little bebop or try playing like this, but I always end up just like playing the smoothest kind of like funky stuff. And it's just like, all right, dude, that's what you love. Like it's chill. Like you don't have to be so like you're not in like jazz school anymore, so it doesn't really matter. You can play whatever you want. So
Yeah.
I feel like I want some kind of sick like gig, like some like rock or like Steely Dan. I mean, Steely Dan uses Barry, so that would be sick on
Yeah.
Barry too. But like something like that,
Both.
like I don't know, like playing with the Rolling Stones or some like sick like rock like that type of thing.
Heck yeah.
Um,
I
uh,
love what you just brought up, which is about like playing what's in your heart without the judgment speaking so loudly. Like I'm curious for everybody listening, like Sax Gang, how many of you feel like you maybe pulled to play something musically but are like judging yourself at the same time because maybe that's not cool to your friends, or maybe there's some other I'm seeing some hearts going. I think people know exactly what you're talking about. And like honestly, I think there's some really killing smooth jazz. I also think there's some smooth jazz that I've seen, some sax players in particular, that put on killer shows. And I'm not as into their records, but like I gotta say, as players, like some of the technically also like really incredible alto players, like Gerald Albright, can throw down on the sax. It is
Yeah.
insane. Um, and I think like the way that you approach smooth, and like also the way your body language towards it too, it's so authentic. What do y'all
Yeah.
think? All right, by the way, let's see what some people are writing about where they're at in their musical journey. People are saying, "Ooh, I'm having trouble with recording audio and videos. My high school band camp starts next week." Yeah, this is a time that we all really have to learn technology. If you've been following along with Office Hours for the last couple months, it was basically a technical show of us being like, "Oh my mic." Trouble finding motivation to break out my sax. Let's talk about that for a moment. I really like that as a subject. Travis is saying, I'm having trouble finding the motivation to break out my sax recently. And I'm curious if anybody watching has had is in a similar boat. Is anyone feeling like their motivation is like plummeting and they're not playing their axe as much as they want to or practicing? I'm gonna join Travis there. Nobody's hurting. I don't believe y'all. I mean, what are your thoughts, Leo, about like let's jam on this for a second. Let's talk
Well,
about motivation and creating work and practicing and how to get going when you might not feel like going or being in a rut.
um, well, just comparing it to like what's happening in my life right this second, it's like, um, I feel like it's important not to be so hard and strict about what is practice. You know? Okay, here's something I want people to avoid that I dealt with all the time. You know, when I was a kid, especially, um, I would just, I'd have so much fun playing, so much fun playing. All right, time to take lessons. Took a lesson. You must learn this and do this and this and this, and it has to be 32 BPM, no faster, and blah, 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 blah.
Oh, I'm already stressed.
Exactly. And so what would happen is I would have this connection between stress, forced to
Mm.
do this, forced to do that, and music that I didn't have as a kid, you know? Um, I
It's
just
not just
think,
carefree and fun anymore,
yeah,
right?
exactly. So,
Yeah.
so it's like I ended up practicing less overall because I would be like, it's like playing, even playing would remind me that I have to do all this stuff. So like,
Yeah.
I
There's
wouldn't
a
make,
separation of practicing and playing.
yeah. Um, so like, I don't. I mean, partially this is a teacher thing. Like I was thinking, you know what's weird? I was like up late last night thinking about this, about how like what teachers, not about this specific subject, but like what teachers I did like and why. You know,
Love that.
try and dissect it because um,
Huh. Yeah.
teachers that ignored what I wanted to do, I never liked. Like if they're just like, you need to do this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
Um, but that's not it shouldn't be that way for everybody. Like some people are like, no, I just want to learn what this teacher has to offer, what they do best, and how to sound like them and how to get
Right. I
better.
love what they do. Let me just
Yeah,
learn how they got there, how they do it. They're the
yeah.
best person to teach me. Right. That's one style for sure.
But for me, it was like my favorite teacher I ever had was in Pittsburgh, Robbie Klein. Shout out Robbie Klein in
What
Pittsburgh.
up, Robbie?
I hope you're doing well. You know, he was he was very like open to whatever I wanted to learn, whatever we wanted to learn. He'd be like, "What are you listening to?" And I'd be like, "Oh, like Michael Brecker." And then he'd be like, "Okay, cool." It's like the next week he had all these Michael Brecker transcriptions and all these CDs and all these like we're just listening. You know what I mean? It was like,
He really catered to where your excitement and
yeah.
passion was. I love
I
that.
I remember because I used to take lessons with him, and he was an hour and a half away from me by public transportation, and I had my little my berry. I had the coffin case, but I would put it in this cart, and I would wheel this cart. I'm like 15 years old, and I would go every week in the summer, and I would travel. I took two buses and a train because he lived outside of Pittsburgh. That's where I grew up, and I remember I would be excited the whole way there, and then the whole way back I'd be like looking over the music, you know. I don't know. I never had that type of excitement from like um, any other teacher. Um, but anyways, sorry.
Yeah, I feel very similarly about the teachers that I've really made an impact in my musical life. The ones that, like you're saying, had a very specific thing that I had to do, especially when I was bringing things that I wanted to work on to my teachers, but they were kind of pushing that aside to do their agenda. And this is at a point that I could already play, it just didn't really sit as well. And I had one teacher, Jeremy Udine, it's like the teacher you're talking about. What a shout out to Jeremy, such an incredible player. He would just make exercises and cater whatever working on to what I wanted to work on, and we spent the majority of the lessons playing together, like playing duets, which I think I learned way more just from being together, playing together, making music. Um, and it was so much fun. There's so much pressure that comes from like, I have to practice this, and I like to tell people that if you're singing on the street, you're working on a rhythm in your head, you're practicing. If you're listening to music, you're practicing. You know, if you're playing air sax in your head and really like focusing on that, you're practicing.
Yeah,
These are all forms of practice.
yeah. I've been recording myself a bunch and like producing stuff and working
Yes.
on doing my own stuff. And I I sometimes will feel guilty. I was like, okay, like all I'm doing is recording myself playing these short little snippets, and like that's not really practicing. You know, sometimes I'll feel bad. Like I did that for like 4 or 5 hours today, but I didn't practice at all. Like, and then it's like I start realizing like when I record myself how like perfect I want it to be and how many times I'm like bum bum bum. It's like are all the notes even? And like listening back, like no, like are is it? Should I do it slurred? Should I do it? And it's like you end up dissecting it so much more in real time than you ever would if you were practicing.
Yeah.
Um, but then but I also want to say about the teacher thing, that now it's weird. Like I just want crazy exercises and to learn everything. Like right now, like I'm down. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm like
Comes in
literally,
waves.
yeah. I'm literally like my improv teacher who I used to have, Gary Dial in my School Music. He used to be like, you have to learn all this stuff and all, and I'm just like, I don't want to know bebop scales really. I don't really, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
now it's funny. I like I'll do a lesson with him sometimes now because like now I want that. You know what I mean?
I love when things come full circle like that. I was actually thinking about something that was such a deep lesson years ago, and I didn't understand it with the person that I was learning from, and literally the last couple of months, it's clicked, and it's so deep, And I wrote him an email recently, being like, "Man, I just want to thank you for that time, that we had that you talked about XYZ." He probably didn't even remember, but I'm like, it really changed my perspective on so many things.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. We're seeing that people are saying that they've lost some motivation. I found motivation for sax a few weeks ago, but I have high expectations for myself. I want to play whatever I like. Let's just also say, I just want to take a moment to say, this is going to sound kind of cheesy, but I've been really thinking a lot about self compassion, you know, cultivating compassion for oneself and being. I think a lot of us are so hard on ourselves, way harder than we would ever be on a friend or a family member. I know I am. There's like a perfectionist quality, there's like a lot of judgment that happens in my head. And, if you're feeling a lack of motivation, or you're feeling like when you get to your practice session you're constantly beating yourself up, maybe take a moment right there to start to look within and say, hey, let me be a little more gentle with myself right now. And also remember that, nobody's going to learn uh, a semester's worth of material or a whole transcription in one practice session. And you kind of have to set your expectations to be more like baby steps and keep track of your progress. But if you walk into a practice session with the expectation of, I'm going to be able to completely play this song and do it in all 12 keys and have, schedule a gig next week, and you're just not at that level yet, then you're kind of setting yourself up for uh, I don't want to say the word failure, but because it's not failure unless you give up on it. But you're just setting yourself up to not meet your expectation, based upon your skill level. So being a bit gentler with oneself, I think, is important.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I want to say that, like, to anybody that feels like they're not as good as other people because of like certain accolades or certain like
Mm.
competitions, I just want to say like those aren't accurate.
Mm.
Can I just say, like, for example, because I feel like a lot of people get self-worth off of like competitions and
So, seeing social media posts,
yeah, or all that kind of stuff where it's like um
awards.
yeah, awards, that kind of, it's like it's funny. It's like every time you give out an award, it's like, as positive as it is to give one person an award, you're also like not giving everyone else award. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, all right, for example, like I never made all state jazz on Barry sax. Like I tried 4 years. Like, and I remember when I was a senior, I was literally like, I remember thinking like, I don't think I'm gonna go into music. Like I was like,
Wow,
I'm
because it
I'm
hit you.
I'm like, I'm not even the best Barry sax player in Pennsylvania. So like it was just in my head, it's like, I don't know, like how am I gonna succeed? Like how is this possible?
You were already
Um
thinking that far ahead and making that statement to yourself
yeah,
back in
at
Allstate auditions.
yeah, at
Yeah.
18 I was like, if I can't even make Allstate,
Mm-hmm.
um and then I made a Grammy band thing, and that's like what brought me back. I was like, oh wait, no, I'm good. But like
I remember the drama that came because I also made it into Grammy Band, but it was like I was holding my breath for like 3 months. It was such a dramatic thing, man, about who
the
got in, who didn't, and
the
self
thing
worth based upon that.
the thing is, honestly, I wasn't holding my breath. I didn't think I was gonna make it at all.
Oh, okay. So it was an awesome surprise.
Yeah, I was literally just like, okay, whatever. Like, I guess I'll send in a Grammy. It's like I heard about this because I know Benny Benack. We were grew up together, and he made it, and I was like, he told me about it, and I was like, I guess so, you know, um,
Yeah, that you
and
should apply.
yeah, and but it's weird because I was still the same player, whether I made state or not. Whether I, if they just decided to go with a different Barry sax player for Grand Band, I honestly don't know if I would have even pursued music. Like that's where I was at,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, and it worked out obviously. But I mean that's just trying to show like that, don't let, I don't know, I'm kind of going off subject, but don't let like competition um negatively affect your only let competition positively affect your motivation. Never
I
let it
love that.
negatively affect your motivation. And you can feel it. You can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're just
Absolutely.
staying up all night watching Grace Kelly play Fearless Flyer videos.
I know you
you
are.
could you could feel it when you're like, I'm gonna shed the alto super hard so that I could get a gig on alto. You know what I mean? You could just feel it.
I'm really glad that you brought that point up because I mean, how many of you? Let's see it in the comments. How many of you have had similar moments? And I know I have. And I also just want to add on to what Leah was saying of like whenever you're doing a type of program or competition, it's one person's opinion, right? Or maybe like a small judge um, who is judging you in that moment to accept you or not accept you in the program. And, you know, if Leo and myself were both like judges for a program, I think we have very different tastes and would potentially pick different people. So just because you don't get one opportunity doesn't mean that you're not absolutely qualified or can't work towards that next one that you'll get. Um, yeah, I love that. Let's just jump in a little bit and look at a couple videos we got this week for office
Yeah.
hours. As
I have to
always,
I have to pee
oh
so bad. I'm
yeah,
gonna be right back. I'm sorry.
do it. I'm gonna cue it up. Our first cat who sent in is Shane. Let me just take a moment to say, um, Jonas is asking if we're watching the videos that we've received. We do save all the videos that you submit for office hours, everyone. Um, so if you have not submitted yet, remember you can submit your 1 minute clip. Just DM it to us and we will save it in folders for future office hour. And this is our time that we come together to give you our honest thoughts. Both of us have not seen your videos yet. So when we sit down and we do office hours, it really is the first time that we're seeing you. And we're going to give you our thoughts not only on the music, but your presentation as well. Some of you have wanted to get our feedback on your performance, and a video is absolutely a performance. Um, yeah, Angie has a comment right now that says, I take rejection very badly. I'm working on it though. Good for you. Uh, this this journey of like going within and able to practice self-worth and compassion and the way that you might take a criticism is literally something that all of us have to practice. I don't think a lot of these things come naturally to us. So good for you. Um, all right, so we're going to take a listen to Shane right now, everybody. And let's see what's going on with Shane. All right, Shane. Thanks for sending in.
Yeah. Thank you.
You got those
Um,
growls down, my man.
yeah. It was cool. I like the growl and the type of vibrato you're doing was cool. Um, you have good sound, full sound,
Mm-hmm.
sounded sick. I would say it was a little. I mean, it's it's so funny when we're like judging this and talking about it, but because like I don't know, he could have just like turned on his cell phone, and just record a random clip of him playing or whatever. But
Right, we have no
um,
context.
yeah, but it was a little like random. I felt like make maybe more of a form, and you know try to turn that into a song. Like, I feel like it had some cool parts and some cool sounds. And then I think you should start some type of like horn band, like get some type of bass instrument, some drums,
Yeah.
and like you had a really good like sound for that kind of thing. Like, kind of sound like Mike Wilbur a little bit to me. Um, yeah, I thought it was cool. That was
I
cool.
liked uh, I liked when you build your improv and you were going, you know, don't judge me, everybody. I haven't played the sax today, but like a it was like really building up. At some point he was adding the growl in with that intensity of notes. I think that was really effective. I would agree with you, Leo, that it was a little bit random for me as well. And I don't know if that was just a free improv. That's cool. Um, but I'd love to hear a little bit more thematic development, even if it was a free improv. Something like you could even take a riff like that. You know what I mean? You could keep coming back to that, or just expand on it and still have kind of like a free vibe. I'd love to see where you take it in that area, because obviously you're playing the acts great, and yeah, I dig your tone. Very cool. What y'all think? Drop a comment for Shane. Let's move on now to Sarah, who sent in. Let's see what Sarah's got for us. I love seeing the ladies on the sax. Here we go. All right. Virtual applause for Sarah, everybody. Let's give her some love.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'll jump in first. I really like what I'm. Sorry, y'all. I'm like so distracted by these in-ears. I really like the swing feel. That's a nice descending bass line, and yeah, I think if you lock that in with a metronome, you can really you have a natural swing feel, but that feels good. So lock it in with a metronome. I like how you overdub some of yourself on it too, to kind of give a saxophone choir effect. And I'd say, Sarah, musically, I could use some space in between your phrases. Um, I'm getting a little bit lost with when you're improvising, it's kind of like a long phrase, and I think we just did our phrasing workshop, so a lot of these last Sunday, so a lot of these ideas are in my brain. I think you could use some kind of shorter rhythmic phrases. Da, 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 da. Something that lets me digest it for a moment, and then maybe do a longer phrase, and then maybe you want to stop everything and just get back to just riff on that for a little bit. I mean, that feels so good, just that line. So you could even start your solo there. Um, but yeah, I love hearing you, and I love how you're bringing some layering into it. And yeah, thank you for sending in. What you thinking, Leo?
I thought it was cool. I thought it was I thought it was a little melancholy.
Mm.
I think that's the right word. Um it's like I'm tr yeah, I felt it was like as a song I felt like it was just a little bit like chill, melancholy, like, and I feel like artistically, if you did something different with the video, it
Mm.
would be more effective. Um,
What could
it
she
was,
do?
I was gonna say like superimpose her face over the whole thing, like staring, like looking
Oh
around.
wow, dude! I always love hearing your video ideas. Like whatever comes top of mind for you, it's just like
Maybe
very
maybe a
creative.
video of her like, like maybe going back and forth between a video of her like picking flowers and like looking in the camera, or like somewhere in
Ooh,
nature, or just like a river,
to match that
or
melancholy feeling that you're
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm,
or uh,
I dig.
or maybe footage of people doing like a 9 to 5 job. I don't know why that is popping in my head, but something about
Huh.
this like the chant of life, the monotonousness of just continuation of this is it. Like just life
Huh.
continues, life breathes, everyone continues, no matter what crazy stuff happens. It
The
continues, you know.
time keeps going.
Um, and then also like I feel like you could improve your sound, and I think you should, or I think that if you want to improve your sound, you would benefit from long tones. Um,
Long tones, y'all.
I feel like you could have a little more strength and energy behind what you're creating. But you seem like you're pretty young, so like there's not like a hurry, like you have to get on that now. But if you want to get a bigger, fuller sound like Grace, then you gotta do long tones,
Oh my
right?
gosh, yeah. Long tones, overtones, stretch that sound you want to get as loud as possible to the point where it might even sound ugly, you know? You won't even see when the sound's gonna break. I was talking to a student recently about, I was like, more, make it ugly, because she was pulling back because it was sounding like ugly. And I'm like, no, you want to know what that sounds like when you really push the sound. And then you want to know what it sounds like when you are piano, 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 piano. So you're not going to know unless you just keep practicing those long tones and, developing tone. That's a great tip, Leo, about, yeah, long tones. I think for a lot of you watching this, you can't overdo that. Overtones, long tones, getting a good sound for sure. But hey, everybody, thank you for joining us. As always, keep sending in your clips. We're here for you, and it's really groovy to see these videos and to hear your thoughts, Leo, and then also to get more of a sense of where all of you are at in the comments. Thanks for letting us know about what's going on musically and your questions. We're taking note of all of those. And yeah, we got some exciting things up our sleeve. Too Sexy is making some future moves. We're not going to tell you right now, but just know we're working on a bunch of music and education material and upcoming classes. So, and performances. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Me too.
But yeah. All right, y'all. Well, have a great rest of your day. And yeah. Peace out. See you next time. Ciao, everybody.
Peace. Bye.